I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you guys for coming. I do want to remind you, there will be time for public comment after Jamie does her presentation, but we would ask that you sign up if you would like to speak. So, first item on the agenda, second item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as stated.
Thank you, Mrs. Elwood.
I would second that.
Thank you, Mr. Kapcha. Thank you. A motion and a second for the approval of the agenda. Is there any discussion?
I don't know if this is the appropriate place to put this, but I'm gonna duck out here in about a half an hour. I gotta go to work, so just FYI.
We're gonna be done,
So
right?
I'm just saying, if I run away, it's nothing happened, I'm just going to work.
All right, so all of those in favor of approval using the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, the ayes have it, the agenda is approved. We're gonna skip the visitor comment to the public comment area, right? So no old business, and now we have new business, and Mrs. Wilson will present our budget to us.
Okay, so what you have in front of you is Platte County School District number 1, the budget document for the fiscal year 23-24. We'll just dive, sorry, I'm gonna try and multitask. Platte County School District Board of Trustees are listed on page 2. Platte County School District number 1 is pleased to present and recommend the proposed budget for fiscal year 24. The budget document was developed by incorporating past and current financial information with recommendations and input received from the superintendent, school administrators, staff, communities, and the board. The priority of the budget was to ensure that all students and staff had the resources available to them to create a positive learning environment. If you continue on page 3, it goes.
Jamie? Yes. Can you roll that up? I don't think I can read that. Can you just read that okay?
What's my glasses on?
You can read, we'll leave it. I know it's a little small. There we go.
Yeah.
The
bigger would be better.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay, so if you continue on page 3, it talks about the different funds that the budget is utilizing, the general fund, and how we gain revenue from the general fund. It continues on to page 4, describing how the state contributes to our guarantee and how school districts are classified by an entitlement or a recapture district. The funding, bring your attention to especially paragraph 2 on page 4. It states the funding model resources are allocated to schools primarily based on average daily membership, also known as ADM, in accordance with Wyoming State Statute 21-13-309 MIB. The funding model generates resources based upon the configurations of grades and ADM for the immediate preceding school year. The funding model utilizes the greater of the previous year's ADM or the 3-year average calculated at the district level. Funding for the new fiscal year 23-24 will be determined using an average of 2020, 21, 21, 22, and 22, 23. In accordance with Wyoming State Statute 21-3-314 CI, the charter school will be entitled to 100% of the foundation program amount computed under Wyoming Statute 21-3-309 unless amounts specified under Wyoming Statute 21-13-309 MBIII through B. At this time, Platte County School District number 1 is incorporating the SLIB approved charter school March 1st enrollment data into their ADM collection or calculation. The funding for fiscal year 23 was based on the average ADM of 923.744, and the funding for fiscal year 24 will be based on the average ADM of approximately 935.698. Okay. If you continue on to page 5, it goes into the description of the general fund revenues that I'm anticipating, broken out by local revenues, county revenues, and state revenues. I know the question was asked at the board meeting on Monday regarding entitlement payments and the way that those are paid out. So 15% of the entitlement payment is paid in August, 10% September through April, and 5% in May. So if there are any changes to the entitlement payment, it would be reflected in those payments as the state receives those updates. On the next page, on page 6, it goes over the expenditures for prior year and what we're anticipating by building budget per expenditure category. The main part that I want you to pay attention to is we're increasing the district transfers from $300,000 to $1,543,641. This increase is due to the SLIB approved charter school pass-through. This is what I am currently anticipating the cost of the transfer totals the district will be paying. We continue.
Getting and paying, getting and.
It's a
Correct,
pass-through, yeah.
it is granted to us through this and the entitlement payment, right here, the 7.8.
Yeah.
And then of that, we owe the 1.243651 for the pass-through.
Okay.
If we continue on to page 7, it goes over the general fund budgets, 3-year summary. You can see everything compared to 2020, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, and what we're proposing for 23, 24. Okay. We continue on to page 6. For fiscal year 24, a balanced budget is being presented. The fiscal year 24 budget includes steps and lanes for all staff, absorption of staff, district transfer to the food service program, and the SLIB approved charter school pass-through. The Wyoming Department of Education has not finalized the funding model for fiscal year 24. The budgeting model that was released to districts on July 7th contains numerous errors and is missing some data elements. The final model cannot be released until it is certified by the LSO and their consultants. The proposed revenue budget is based on the best information that Platte County School District number 1 currently has. So that is all subject to change. As you can see, then it breaks down our local revenues as we've gone over in those previous charts, as well as the direct uses of instruction, instructional support, admin and support services, the transfer to the food service program, and the Prairie View pass-through. Okay. We continue on, it talks about major maintenance and what we can use that particular fund for. About midway through the paragraph, I think the important thing to note is we're currently working on the new lease agreement with the SLIB approved charter school. In accordance with Wyoming State Statute 213314 CII, the charter school will be entitled to the benefit of 100% of the amount to be contributed to the school district under major maintenance payments pursuant to Wyoming Statute 2115-109, based upon the portion that the charter school education building gross square footage contributes to the district's educational building gross square footage. Currently, Platte County School District number 1 is not accounting for the decrease in the funding for major maintenance money to be passed through, just because I am unaware of what that square footage is, so I have no idea how to even calculate what that's going to be. However, we are still going to be maintaining one of our buildings. So we're not entirely sure how that lease agreement is gonna work as well on whether or not they are going to have to be approved prior to making those major maintenance. All of that is still unknown at this time.
But it'll stay in the lease when we get the lease finished.
Correct. And that we are not currently finished with the lease agreement.
Yeah, no.
Some of the major maintenance projects that Platte County School District number 1 currently has in place is the Wheatland High School Auditorium and HVAC update. We're gonna continue to finalize payments and pay out retainage to Sampson Construction. We just finished resurfacing the Wheatland High School track. We have a couple of split unit replacements that we already have in the works, and also we'll be renewing the district network communications license and finishing out the Ponderosa building. Those are some of the more higher expense projects that I know of at this time. The remaining expenses for major maintenance will be used as building needs arise.
Excuse me a minute. I hope this is the right time to bring this up, but numerous people have asked me what is gonna take place in that Ponderosa building. I realized it was covered by insurance. What's the plan?
I can talk about that. Do you want me to talk about it?
Okay, thank
So
you.
it was really built to receive freight, that was, there's a dock there, I believe, I haven't actually seen that building right now, I think it's more for storage, but that's the original intent of that. So I was talking to Ryan a little bit about how we could actually have some staff there, our facility, maintenance person, the director should probably be there, that should probably be their area. So that's what it was designed for, I believe, and that's what we're gonna put it to use for.
Okay, thank you.
If we continue on to page 10, it goes over what we're anticipating the state to give us as our local, or as our state revenue for the major maintenance fund, and what we're anticipating that we're gonna be spending on our facilities for the fiscal year. We're always hopeful to have a little bit extra money at the end of the year, so we can start saving up for some of those bigger projects that we might have to fund through major maintenance. So this, again, is just what our assumption is gonna be. On page 11, continue on, it talks about the federal fund grants that Platte County School District number 1 utilizes. They're all listed there and their purposes. Federal grants are legally restricted to specific uses within targeted populations and have specific timelines for the use. And we can't just purchase anything with any grant, we have to read all the fine print. Continue on to read all of those. And then page 13 breaks out how we're planning on spending those funds. $3,281,000 is what we're planning on spending on direct instruction, $263,000 on instructional support, and $146,000 on admin and support services. We continue capital construction fund. Currently, Platte County School District number 1 has 4 projects that are approved: the Ponderosa peak storage, the Wheatland Middle School greenhouse replacement, Wheatland High School auditorium, and the Wheatland Middle School roof replacement. We are currently anticipating that half of the roof replacement is gonna come out of fiscal year 24 and the other half will be coming out of fiscal year 25.
Does anyone know what the plans are for that greenhouse?
I can tell you a little bit, so there's some insurance money that was left over and I talked to Lisa about it, and so they're going to look at some type of package. They might do a little fundraising to see what the total would be, but that's a pretty nice amount, I can't remember, Jim, it's 69?
It's 8,000, what she has remaining to spend on the
Yeah,
greenhouse?
for the
It's-
insurance that we shared with her.
It's $8,000 some $100 that she has to spend.
And what I mean is what will take place in the greenhouse?
They're gonna grow stuff.
Plant cells,
Yeah, she's planning on incorporating a little bit of the ag program into that, so
Okay.
talking to them about planting and the growth of those like fresh vegetables, and then they are going to allow the life skills class to utilize those vegetables to start
Oh.
baking.
Will they do
So-
some marketing with selling plants and stuff? too,
We
like,
talked a little bit,
I know the Douglas kids,
yeah, so,
whatever,
yeah,
but they're.
even Mother's Day, you know, kids can pay a little bit and they can take home like a little potted plant for their
Yeah.
mom during Mother's Day, that's pretty common,
We
so
do
those
that.
kind of things, so yeah.
Grade school.
And who is it, Lisa?
Macintosh.
Okay.
If we continue on to page 15, it talks about the enterprise fund. The budget comprises of local, state, and federal funds. In fiscal year 20 through fiscal year 22, the school district was operating under the USDA Summer Food Service Program, and free meals were offered to all students throughout the program. The reimbursement amount for that program is higher. It is anticipated that the general fund will need to contribute $300,000 to offset the expenses. This is something that Platte County School District number 1 has had for a long time. It's been supplementing it every year as it's not self-sufficient. You can see that we are going to be dipping into this beginning cash balance to help offset some of those costs.
And you estimate that transfer to be 300,000.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm currently estimating it at. We also estimated it to be that for last year when we approved the budget, but we had to supplement 200,000, so. But after visiting with the food service director and just the increasing costs of food, I mean, we all notice it when we go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
No condiments on any sandwiches this year, that's the solution.
Bring your own
Is that at your house?
contrabands.
They're not something school, sorry, Mike, you'll catch up.
If we continue down to page 16, this is the custodial fund. The district is responsible to account for depositing and distributing all money in a custodial capacity. These are the student organization funds. This is really just also a guess of what we're anticipating the students to have. I base this off of a 4-year to 3-year average. It's kind of hard with fiscal year 20 in there. I don't know if that's truly accurate because there wasn't a lot of activity going on at that time.
Oh. So when you say that, just real quick, that's because of the additional custodial work that is needed after game, or what do you?
No. Custodial fund is just like the student activity fund. That's
The
it's
school
not
just has
custodians.
Oh,
It's the wording is not the
all right. I'm like, so where's that line?
I did the same thing.
Okay, good.
Alright, thank you, Mrs. Wilson.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Did a good job. Everybody.
Questions?
Everybody's done a good job.
Mrs. McGuire, would you like to say your contents? And we have the 30-minute limit, so you've got
I
the whole
promise.
30 minutes.
I won't get
Please
out.
don't.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanna say thank you guys. I know it's a very highly paid job up there and I appreciate you guys, I do. Usually when I attend board meetings, I am getting paid, so I feel for you not getting paid and usually getting your ass chewed. So I'm not here to chew your ass at all. I just had a couple questions on the budget just because things changed and I don't know, I'm just kind of a nerd like that. First one is Chugwater. So in the budget, it does show $1 million roughly in change. But obviously your revenue will be going down also, but that was costing us more, correct, to have Chugwater than what we were getting from the state, is that correct?
So in previous years to operate Chugwater, are you asking whether the district was supplementing from district-wide funds?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so since, let's say the million, I know it's probably not totally 100 or a million, can you tell me how that's been reallocated?
So part of that is going to, so we're gonna get increased revenue for having more students. So the state's actually gonna pay us more in our entitlement, trying to.
What page do you go to, Jamie, so we can read what page you're working on?
So if you go to page 4, it'll talk about the ADM. So if we are not including the SLIB approved charter school, our average daily membership would be $9.23. But because we are currently, the way that the state has us calculating it is we are including the charter school with our ADM. So our money is gonna go up with that. However, so are our expenses of having to pay out Prairie View. So as far as how we've allocated it to others, it's going to be, part of it is going to be, we no longer have the $750,000 deficit budget. And then some of it is gonna go to the increased insurance costs that the district has we had a 15.5 insurance increase for all health insurance for all employees. And now that's also free to all classified, so we're just kind of anticipating that most people are gonna be moving to that insurance. Let me think of what else I think that went to. And then obviously we have to pay a little bit more out than.
Right, I understand you still have some cost. So when you gave that better insurance, did we make sure that we told employees that that was a added bonus? I mean, you're giving them a raise, correct? Really?
Yeah, what we
Really?
told
Overall,
them during
do they
that
understand
meeting
that?
was that we would not take money away from them, we would not cost them anything.
Okay,
That we did not want them, I mean, is that, Ms. Boaz, that's the way we kind of explained it? That we would not cut your wages, so we
right, so you really did give
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
a raise? I mean, really?
basically,
Really?
yes.
Okay, I just,
Tried to.
if they understand that, that's what I'm asking.
Right.
Okay, then at the last board meeting, John, you had mentioned that you thought that the district had a surplus of cash, correct? You had said that
Carryover, is that?
in the general fund at the last meeting, you thought that you guys was gonna have a surplus. You said the district wasn't broke, that you actually probably had a 900,000 surplus, or you thought that they had a surplus of cash.
I can probably answer it in another location, if you wanna come in and meet with me, cause this is
Sure.
really, we're supposed to listen to you and
Right,
comment on our budget and then move forward. If you
Okay.
have some good questions, I have no problem meeting with you and saying, hey, here's what we talked about, that was back 4 years ago, but here's where we built our cash reserves.
Yep.
That's the information you want, I have no problem meeting with you there, but that's
Right.
kind of the intent of, the comment is comment about our budget, we don't really interact back.
so let me roll that to the budget real quick, I will roll that to the budget, you don't have to answer.
Yeah.
But so in the budget, you're showing an ending cash balance of 3.6 million in the general fund. If you're short of cash, or if you feel that you're not supplementing your teachers, which I'm not saying you are, you're not, I don't know. But if that's your goal, is 3.6 million too much to leave in your surplus? That's all I'm saying, in your budget, that's my question. I don't know that answer. I know 2 or 3 years ago, we couldn't pay because the state was wacky. I know that could happen again, I'm not saying, I'm just asking, is 3.6 the right number? And it looks to me like Glendo didn't save you any money. That's to me in the budget. It looks to me like you have a $200,000 for closing a couple of things, but it probably didn't save any money. Is that correct? That's what it looks like in the budget to me.
Right, I guess I can comment and say Glendale schools cut their budget by $195,568.
But you also cut the funding you would get probably from the state, your revenue probably,
So we
Went down
we will not see that until the following years, cause it goes off that 3-year average, so we're getting to count the high school students for 3 years.
I see, okay, alright. Okay. That's all I have.
Come down. So we came down. You're right.
Any other questions for Mrs. Wilson?
fine,
Okay.
yes.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to approve the budget.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the school year 24 budget.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Very good.
I'm sorry.
Alright, who did you give that one to? The second?
Thank you. Who did we? Chuck, yeah.
Mr. Kafka made a motion and Ms. Hoffman seconded it, thank you. And now we should have discussion. Sorry about that. Any other discussion, any questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the fiscal year 24 budget, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, it is passed. All right.
It's for me to read.
Yeah, I think she.
And now you need me to read this.
Okay,
Budget appropriation and levy resolution. Whereas on the 19th day of July 2023, the budget officer filed with the Board of Trustees of Platte County School District Number 1 a tentative budget and budget message for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. And whereas a summary of such budget was entered into the board minutes and not of a public hearing on such budget as published in the Platte County Record Times and Merchant newspapers having general circulation in Platte County the week of July 12th, 2023, or generally advertised in a public place. Whereas a public hearing was held concerning such budget on the Wednesday, July 19th, 2023 at 6 p.m., at which time all interested parties were given an opportunity to be heard. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Platte County School District Number 1 that such budget as revised is applicable, is hereby adopted, and subject to future amendment. Be it further resolved that the following appropriations are made as of and for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, and that respective expenditures of applicable to each department and fund shall be limited to the amounts hereby appropriated, subject to future amendment. Appropriations, General Fund, 18,548,538. Special Review Fund, 390,300. Capital Construction Fund, 1,042,783. Food Service Fund, 702,390. Custodial Fund, 340,000. I shouldn't say thousands. Recreation District, 193,629. Total appropriation, 25,217,640. Be it further resolved that after deducting all available cash and estimated revenues, the following amounts must be raised through general taxation, and that such levies are required to provide such amounts are hereby authorized as of and for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Amounts to be raised, General Fund, 25 mills, which would be 4,840,730. BOCES Higher Education, 1/2 mil, 96,815. Hot Springs EC BOCES, 1/2 mil, 96,815. Recreation District, 1 mil, 193,629. Total amount raised through taxation, 5,227,988. Assessed District Valuation, 193,629, 193. Signed by the Board of Trustees, Platte County School District Number 1, dated this 19th day of July, 2023.
thank you. This is over.
We can sign it and
Okay, we just need to sign one and.
I think you see one copy to me.
Alright.
Just don't look at 100% as it closer to that before. That sheet too.
I know.
Remember the monthly cost maybe for health insurance for family,
For what,
for the health insurance?
29,000 for our, yeah, for our
29,000,
cost,
okay,
yeah,
that's annual,
29,000.
family, okay.
like clerk. And all the trustees.
So she can finish signing.
Should start.
You're approved, President, that's just a valid-
Alright, I would now take entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second. Motion to adjourn. I second that motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Haroldson and Mrs. Zeller. Any discussion? All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or any against, say no. You guys have it, we are adjourned at 6:31.
Good job.